Yggdrasil is a massively multiplayer online role-playing game released in 2126 that is discontinued after 12 years of standing as the top MMORPG. Momonga, guildmaster of Ainz Ooal Gown, is conversing with guildmate Hero during the last moments of Yggdrasil in their guild hall, the Great Tomb of Nazarick. Hero bids farewell to Momonga and logs out. Momonga is enraged about his friends leaving the game, but cools down after noting that they did not abandon the guild, it was that they had real-life issues to deal with. Now all alone in Nazarick except for NPCs and still engrossed in the memories of the past, he takes the staff of Ainz Ooal Gown and heads to the throne room. On the way he orders Seabass and the battle maids to follow and meets Albedo there. On a whim, he changes her settings to be in love with him, as its originally setting created by Tabula was that she was an absolute bitch. Momonga closes his eyes to await the forced logout by server but realizes something is wrong as he is not ejected and remains in the game. He discovers, to his astonishment, that the NPCs have developed their own personalities and can be directly communicated with as if they were humans. Albedo, in particular, begins exhibiting the personality traits based on the settings Momonga made, much to his shock. Momonga attempts to test the limits of this new discovery but is forcefully calmed down. He also notices he can smell now, which was not possible in the game so far. Dazed at all that has occurred, Momonga orders Albedo to call every guardian except those from 4th and 8th floor to meet him in the arena floor. He teleports himself to the arena to test his skills. There he meets the floor guardians Ora Bellafiora and Mare Bellafiore. Momonga asks them to help him test out his newfound powers. After they finish sparring with the fire elemental spirit, they are given refreshments by Momonga, at which they are surprised. Shortly after, the floor guardians enter the arena and introduces themselves. The floor guardians of Nazarick enter the arena and introduces themselves. Guardian of the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd floor, Shalltear Bloodfallen, who is a true vampire, then enters Cositus, the guardian of the 5th floor, whom Momonga tells is the definition of the warrior. Finally enters Demiurge, the guardian of the 7th floor, a true demon. Along with him enters Albedo, the overseer of the floor guardians. They upon arriving at once pledges their loyalty to Momonga. At this, Momonga is greatly pleased, and then Seabass comes and reports that the guild hall was somehow moved to an unknown location. Momonga, astonished at this, starts by strengthening their defenses and requests Mare to use his earth magic to blend the Great Tomb of Nazarick into the surrounding area and give the guardians their respective orders, and leaves. The guardians, astonished at his dark aura of instilling fear and intelligence, leaves to do their assigned works while Momonga continues to test his capabilities in the new world, and went outside with Demiurge and glances at the world and jokingly comments that conquering the world might not be a bad thing, and Demiurge misunderstands this as an actual order. While using a magic mirror to examine nearby lands with the help of Seabass, Momonga discovers a village under attack from knights of unknown affiliation. At first, Momonga intends to ignore the slaughter, but when he remembers the debt he owed to his guildmate Touchme, he decides to save the villagers and arrives there through a gate which make the soldiers afraid. While they were about to kill two siblings, Momonga casts a high-tier spell and it easily kills one of the two soldiers and uses the dead soldier to make a death knight and orders it to kill every soldier in the area. Meanwhile, a group of warriors led by a man named Gazef encounter sacked villages looking for survivors. Nigan Grid Lewin, the captain of the Sunlight Scripture of the slain Theocracy, marches on Karn village with a team of magic casters to kill Gazef. Realizing this, Gazef attempts to convince Ainz Ooal Gown, Momonga's new name, to defend the village to no avail, so he sets out with his men to confront them while Ainz assists the villagers in escaping. Gazef and his men fight bravely, but they are beaten severely by Nigan's men. Before Nigan's magic casters can deal the final blow, an item that Ainz had previously given Gazef activates and swaps the latter and his men with Ainz and Albedo. Ainz reveals that his whole scheme was to test the power that the slain Theocracy's men had, and that he was using Gazef to do so. Immediately, Ainz begins effortlessly batting away the attacks of Nigan's men, much to their shock. This leads Nigan to activate a 7th tier spell, summoning a powerful angel to attack Ainz. The attack barely inflicts pain on Ainz, which he scoffs about. Albedo, however, is infuriated that someone hurt her beloved Ainz and threatens to massacre them. Ainz calms her down, and then proceeds to obliterate the angel with a black hole. Dumbfounded and horrified at the power Ainz displayed, Nigan begins to beg for his life. Laughing, Ainz responds by quoting one of Nigan's previous statements. After the battle, Ainz returns to Nazarick to announce his name change and their goal of spreading his new name, Ainz Ooal Gown, across these new lands. However, his servants misinterpret this as a declaration that he wishes to rule the world. Ainz and Narbaril, one of the battle maids of Nazarick, take on the aliases of Mammon and Nabe, respectively, in order to join the Adventurers Guild in the city of Yggdrasil to learn more about the world. Several complications arise when Mammon finds it troublesome to keep Nabe from blowing their cover, while rowdy adventurers try to win Nabe's attention, which only annoys her. Meanwhile, a dangerous necromancer and a bloodthirsty female assassin plot a takeover of Yggdrasil. Mammon, Nabe, and the Swords of Darkness are hired by Nymphyria to accompany him to Karn village. On the journey, the party is attacked by a large group of goblins and ogres. A battle plan is made quickly. While the Swords of Darkness pick off the goblins, Mammon and Nabe would eliminate the ogres. As the fight proceeds, Mammon immediately breaks formation and instantly hastily bifurcate several ogres to the shock of the swords of darkness. The other goblins and ogres panic and retreat at the sight of Mammon cutting down their kin. Later, around a campfire, Mammon and Nabe share a tense moment with the rest of the group when one of the swords inquires about Mammon's past. Mammon's group arrives at Karn village and meet Enri Amat and her goblin troop. Enri tells Fyria why the village is fortified, and she also mentions Ainz Ooal Gown, the red potion that healed her, and albedo, which leads Fyria to conclude that Mammon is Ainz Ooal Gown. Fyria apologizes to Ainz for deceiving him, and Ainz tells him not to reveal his identity to anyone. Overhearing this, Nabe immediately becomes distraught as she was responsible for Fyria uncovering Mammon's identity. Later, as Fyria requests the Swords of Darkness along with Mammon and Nabe to help him collect medical herbs in the forest, Mammon learns of the wise king of the forest, a supposedly powerful magical creature. Seeing an opportunity to gain fame, Mammon contacts Aura back in Nazarick and has her draw out the beast from its den. The beast angrily runs out of its den and charges Mammon. Mammon immediately recognizes the beast as a giant Jungarian hamster, a species that one of his guildmates kept as a pet in real life. Noting how much of a disappointment the wise king was, Mammon instead opts to use one of his skills to scare the beast into submission. Aura, seeing this, asks if she can take its pelt, but Mammon decides to make the king his servant instead. Naming the wise king Hamsuk, Mammon introduces Hamsuk to the Swords of Darkness, who are in awe over its wisdom. Mammon, however, is floored by their perception of Hamsuk, as he cannot see her as anything other than a giant cute hamster. After successfully collecting the herbs, the group returns to Yggdrasil. Mammon and Nabe then part ways with the group to register Hamsuk, while the Swords of Darkness return to the pharmacy for their payment from Fyria. The group is intercepted by Clementine, however, who menacingly mocks the group. Clementine appears in front of Fyria to kidnap him. The Swords of Darkness attempt to buy time for Fyria and Ninya to escape, but Kajiat blocks their way of escape. After registering Hamsuk at the Adventurers Guild, Mammon's group meets Lizzie Berar and guides them to her house. However, they find the Swords of Darkness turned into zombies. After killing them off, Mammon immediately deduces three things. First, whoever did it did not hide the bodies, meaning they did not care to cover their tracks. Second, a piercing weapon was used to kill the swords. Third, their target was Fyria. With this knowledge, Mammon asks Lizzie if she wants to hire him to save her grandson at the cost of all she has. Agreeing to the pseudo-Faustian contract, Mammon uses several locator spells to track Clementine to an old cemetery on the edge of town. Using Crystal Monitor, Mammon discovers an undead army with Fyria at its center. Ordering Lizzie to alert the guild in town, Mammon immediately rushes to the cemetery. Upon arriving at the gate, Mammon astonishes the guards by single-handedly annihilating the undead attacking them despite being only a copper plate. Along with Nabe and Hamsuk, Mammon carves a path to Kajiat and Clementine. Confronting them, he mocks Kajiat and demands that they hand over Fyria while also drawing out Clementine. Mammon then leaves Nabe to deal with Kajiat while he and Clementine leave to take their battle elsewhere. As Mammon and Clementine are walking, the latter attempts to psychologically taunt Mammon. Mammon brushes it off with laughter and then enrages Clementine by declaring he does not need to fight seriously to kill her. Mammon and Nabe begin their respective fights against Kajiat and Clementine. Kajiat summons two skeletal dragons that he declares are impervious to magic, but this is proven partially false as Nabe easily obliterates both the dragons and Kajiat with a 7th tier spell, as the dragons can only block 6 and below. Mammon, continuing to give Clementine a handicap, clashes with her repeatedly. Furious at how Mammon repeatedly mocks her as weak, Clementine charges Mammon with a full force attack and stabs him in both eyes with elemental strikes. Mammon brushes off the move to Clementine's shock and pins her with a one-armed bear hug. Revealing his true nature as an undead, Ainz torments Clementine that she was defeated by a magic caster that did not even use magic. Visibly shaken, Clementine snaps and flails relentlessly while thrashing at Ainz to release her. Her efforts prove futile, and Ainz crushes her body with both arms, killing her. Ainz then returns victorious with Narbaril, Hamsuk, and Fyria, and for his efforts is immediately promoted to mithril rank. As he discusses his new promotion with Narbaril, Ainz contacts Albedo, who alerts him that Shalltear Bloodfallen has rebelled against Nazarick. Shalltear is outside Nazarick, trying to find martial arts users with Seabass and Solution. After encountering some bandits, she sends Seabass and Solution back to the kingdom and goes to the bandits' base, where she confronts their leader, Brainonblaus, who knows martial arts. However, he is so weak compared to her that she does not even realize that he is using them. She then goes into a blood frenzy and kills all of the bandits except Brain, who escapes. She tries to follow him, but encounters adventurers who are there to fight the bandits. She kills all of them except Brita, who had Ainz's red potion, which makes Shalltear believe that Ainz wanted her alive. When she realizes that one adventurer was set to run away beforehand should it all go bad, she tries to find him, but ends up being attacked by some unknown people who attack her with a weapon, but not before she manages to wound the user. After Ainz hears that she has betrayed Nazarick, he decides to go to her and find out why. Ainz and Albedo find Shalltear, and Ainz states that even though Shalltear is under mind control, she was left behind without any orders. Ainz attempts to use a super tier magic item to free her, but it fails. Because of this, Ainz realizes that Shalltear has been mind controlled by a world-class item, the strongest of all types of items. items. He decides to equip the floor guardians with the world-class items that Nazarick has to protect them before he goes to fight Shalltear, but he also states that Shalltear is one of the strongest NPCs in Nazarick and that he might not be able to beat her. Ainz, while being observed by the other available floor guardians from Nazarick, finally goes and confronts Shalltear, who proves to be on par with Ainz, but Ainz beats her with a special move, after which she uses a skill to prevent her death at the cost of using up all her mana. However, Ainz then states how everything has been going according to his plan. Ainz and Shalltear Bloodfallen continue their fight. However, it is revealed that outcome of their fight was already predicted by Ainz. Using the knowledge about Shalltear provided by her creator and his friend Peroronkino, he had the whole battle pre-planned. With his MP reduced, he changed to a warrior class and used the world champion armor. Then using various other cash shop items and finally using a super tier spell, Ainz defeats and kills Shalltear. Then back at Nazarick, Ainz resurrects Shalltear using 500 million gold. However, Shalltear has no memory of her time under mind control, although it is revealed that the slain Theocracy was responsible for it. Mammon and Nabe return to the guild to look for a new job, and it is shown that he has been promoted directly to Adamantite class, making them the third Adamantite party in the kingdom. The moral message of Overlord is multifaceted. One aspect involves the consequences of absolute power. As Ainz gains control over powerful NPCs and becomes an influential figure in the game world, the anime explores the ethical implications of wielding immense power and the impact it has on decision-making and morality. Ainz faces dilemmas and choices that force viewers to consider the ethical ramifications of his actions. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel, because it is very important for the development of the channel.